Hello, this is CJ, and this is the Move Push Men's group, online group about men creating new friendships and maintaining current ones and just becoming better men. And we were talking before this recording started. I think Craig had a pretty good idea, something that he was thinking about and something I sort of thought about, and that it's probably best to share stories and issues that are kind of more general for the recording than for those of us who want to get deeper, especially into issues that involve other people or more sensitive, then that should be probably off the recording. So for tonight, we're gonna start with those things that we feel comfortable talking about on the recording, and then I'll stop the recording. We'll continue on beyond that and go into potentially deeper things in which the participants don't want recordings happening. Okay, I think I explained that reasonably well. If not, feel free to jump in and help me with that. But for now, I wanted to talk about Oh, my time with my daughter. She and I are I'm back in the USA. She and I are visiting my uncle and cousin in Georgia, and we were out today walking in a trail behind my uncle's house on the golf course, and he's it's a beautiful property. But anyway, I'm just enjoying nature, and we were talking, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but she said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm not going to quit. You taught me that." I went, "Oh, wow, where'd that come from?" She said, what I taught her helped her get through college. Her first year, she seriously wanted to quit college. It was really difficult for her to, leave the home and go, you know, 150 miles away and be on her own. But she stuck it out and got through it and ended up graduating and now has a real job. So, but it was really cool that she said that, and it made me feel good as a dad. And then I tried to go back and think of what did I actually teach her though. I don't recall her, talking to her about, oh, don't quit, the kind of perseverance that we might use in a um, and sticking to whatever you're doing in business or fitness or something like that. I do recall teaching her that you should finish what you start. That's pretty general. And I also recall teaching her that, like we had a policy in the house, you don't get to eat your dessert until you finish your meal. You got to eat the good food before you get the fun food. So those I remember, but I don't really remember telling her, don't quit unless it's really really meaningful. So I'm curious to know what, if anything, you taught your kids on that, if you had that opportunity, or how you view, setbacks in meaningful tasks in life, whether it's, business or in your personal life. And, I'm really interested in stories on that topic. So I will throw it open and see if you guys can share with me, you know, on this topic. If you don't, I'll start calling on people. So,
Yeah, well,
First off, CJ, go ahead,
you
Craig.
go, Kevin. No, you go, Kevin.
I was going to say, first of all, CJ, I think it's not as important what you said as more of what she reflected back to you and, is what she took from it. That's more
Mhm.
important, I think.
Agreed.
So kudos to you. Good job. Job well done
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah. I know I tried to instill that in my kids, you know, finish what you committed to. That was a big thing to me. If you made the commitment, stick with it. Even though it's hard, I especially my two older boys when they were younger, they were in martial arts.
Mm.
My oldest, he was with the Junior Olympics. The first year he was great, but then the second year he said he was going to do it, And then he was training and then he was getting sick of it and didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, yeah, but you already committed, so you got to finish it through. Um, I remember that was a big lesson that he remembers too. That's why I bring it up that because he's, said that to me. So I think that's the big thing is what they remember.
I like what you say. Your statement was more specific. Don't quit what you commit to, or finish what you commit to. I like it.
Yeah, I was going to say very much what Kevin said, that your daughter, you understood it one way, like, completing what you start and follow
Mhm.
through, and she took it differently, but the basic meaning was the same.
Mhm.
Um, and I've been the same with my kids. If they wanted to take on a sport, they weren't allowed to drop out halfway through the season. They had to complete the season. They didn't have to do it again the next year if they didn't want to. But
Yeah.
if they started it, complete that cycle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I was going to say, I think, and because what happens is other people depend on you in that situation, especially if it's a team sport. If it's if it's like tennis or golf, then, maybe not so much, but still other people might be depending on you or, um, to finish those tasks as well. Go ahead, Craig.
yeah. I was going to say I came across something during the week, and I didn't actually think at the time. I didn't think about it as being relevant for this group because if I had, I would have kept a copy of it. It was probably a short, one of the short videos that you get on YouTube. And it was talking about your children. And one of my complaints that I've had with my daughter is she got married a year or so ago. Um, and she moved to a different country, moved from New Zealand to Australia, and we just never hear from her. She never rings. She never. I mean, we have the odd, like if something major happens, I'll send her a message or something and I hear from her. But she never rings mum. She never rings me or sends messages or anything. And I felt really aggrieved by that. That
Mhm.
you've like it was almost she got married and she's no longer in the family and that's the end of the relationship. And
Uh,
I saw this video and basically and it was talking about this exact thing. And it was saying you shouldn't be upset by it because you've achieved your task. Your
mhm.
task was to teach them independence, and you've done that. You should be happy. And it was just a different way of looking at it. And I thought, yeah, well, okay, she doesn't need me. Um,
That's so true.
I
Mhm.
don't need her to need me.
I mean,
So,
how many parents you hear now where their kids have never left home yet? And they're in their 30s still living in the basement.
Mhm.
I mean, it's very common nowadays. And a lot of it's economy and they can't
Yeah.
get jobs. And I don't know, housing's so expensive, rent's expensive. I don't know what the reasons are.
yeah,
Every
but
situation different.
there's lots of reasons, but they're not the usual ones.
Mhm.
They're the excuses. They're not the reasons.
I, I tell you, my daughter, when she got out of college, she came home and she was ready to get out on her own as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she took a job as an associate with a startup company. And now she's a vice president, took stock options instead of salary. And she's on maternity leave still now since January.
Well,
Nice.
So, yeah, I just saw my
Congratulations.
grandson. I saw my grandson this weekend. Boy, he is going fast. He's
All
starting to
right.
smile. He's playing with toys now, and yeah, pretty interesting watching him develop from that tiny little baby to now he's over 3 months old. he's grabbing things and he's smiling and he's reacting. His eyes are following you and things like that, you know.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Before I forget, Kevin, how old are your kids?
My oldest will be 30 in September. My youngest daughter, she'll be 23
Okay.
in
So,
August.
um, I think I've had some of the same experience Craig is describing with my daughter, but my approach is more like how much time did I want to spend with my parents when I
Oh
was in my
yeah.
20s, and it was on
Yeah.
very little, other than well, we had a Sunday gathering where my stepmom cooked, and she's a great cook, and then
Sunday
I could use
dinner.
their laundry facilities. So it was a very transactional relationship in my 20s.
Yeah.
So, but my daughter only sees me once or twice a week, even when I come back from Thailand, and I just accepted that I'm lucky to get that much.
She's got a life
Um,
too, right?
she does, and
Yeah.
Craig, what Craig discovered, and we didn't know if she was going to be independent. Got
Yeah.
some issues, but she's overcome those, and yeah, we're proud of her. So it
Great.
Yeah,
still
about
hurts a
that.
little, still hurts.
Yeah.
You don't get that
But
love.
it's kind of like what Craig was saying. It's and I actually saw my oldest son today. And I reminded him and his girlfriend, it's perspective. That's the one thing you can control is how you look at it.
That's right.
So
You can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react to it,
yeah.
Yeah.
or what role it plays in your life.
So the funny thing about the whole thing is her husband, he's from New Zealand as well. He rings his mother every Sunday night. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we hear more about what's going on from his mother than we do from hers.
This is kind of a story. It kind of goes along with what we're talking about. And to this day, I still feel guilty about this. And I talked extensively many times with my wife about it. And she keeps telling me that I shouldn't feel guilty. And it all evolved around when I was 16, my parents divorced, and I was the oldest of four kids. It was a bitter, bitter divorce. We went from a nice, big 5 bedroom house where my mom and us four kids were stuck in a little apartment. And I was very bitter of my father at the time. But I remember him telling me, he said, maybe one day you'll understand. And those words still ring to me. But what I'm getting at is by the time I was 18, I could not leave home fast enough. I packed my car 2 months after high school and hit the road. And I did not come back home for 5 years. I
Wow.
left my mother alone with my younger siblings, and I still have guilt about that because she was an amazing woman and she worked her butt off. She just lived for her kids and her grandkids, and I saw her struggle, and to this day, I still feel guilty about leaving her. My wife tells me I shouldn't feel guilty about leaving her. I still
No, you
struggle with it.
shouldn't.
I still
I mean,
struggle with it though, because I was the oldest, and I was kind of the one that kept all the younger ones kind of, doing what they were supposed to be doing while mom was working.
Well,
You
look at
know,
it from the point of view of you gave the next sibling the opportunity to have learn some leadership.
That's a
yeah,
pretty good
I
spin.
still struggle with that. I didn't come home for 5 years, but I tell you, after that, I made an effort to always. I lived 2,000 miles away from where she lived, so it wasn't like I can just hop in the car and drive for an hour and go visit. It was 2,000 mile drive. I was in Northern California and she was in Houston, so
Hmm.
it's quite a drive. And so, visiting her, I always made an effort to visit her at least every 2 years. And then when I got married and had children, we made even more efforts to get down there and visit, you know, see grandma and all that. So,
Huh.
but
I don't know
yeah,
if what your obligation is there, but it's not well defined. Um, in America, the assumption is, you're going to leave the home to, go to school or pursue a career, which seems selfish, but that's the expectation. Now, if you stayed there and, worked at the mill or something and helped out your mom, that helps her in the short term, but it doesn't do much for your career. Yeah, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, I don't see leaving as selfish. I mean, that's you have a life to live.
yeah.
I know I
You
saw how she
and
struggled. All those, especially when Tara was gone. It was really hard on her. And,
Yeah, the real bad guy in the scenario is your father. If he wasn't,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
we don't
And
know the details
I had a
there, but
real hard time with that for many, many years. I had a hard time forgiving him.
hmm.
Very difficult time because
Now that I understand.
he married another woman with 3 kids,
amen.
Yeah,
and that really pissed me off.
yeah, I can see that.
And then once her kids were grown and out of the house, guess what she did?
She
She
cut him loose.
divorced them.
That's
Mm.
right.
So
Comes
Yeah.
my
around,
dad was a
goes around.
bachelor for a while, and then he met another woman named Mavis. And you have to understand that my parents' divorce was so bitter that it was so bad that even when we were all, it was always separate functions. There was function at mom's with the brothers and sisters and everybody. There was the function at dad's. There was never everybody together.
Hmm.
Then Mavis came into the picture in the early 90s, and she's a strong Texas woman. And she's put her foot down. She says, if this shit stops right now, we're a family and everybody's going to get together in the same house. And she forced my dad to go to my mom's house and visit when we were all there.
That's very
I give
interesting.
Mavis a
That's
lot of credit for that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
was going
said
to tell a
grow up.
similar story that I thought was pretty amazing. That my mother and my stepmother became friends, especially when my stepfather passed away, and then I moved my mom out to Arizona for probably 7 years. My mother came to family functions at my stepmother's house, and they got along fine. To the point where they were like girlfriends. I looked at my
Yeah,
dad like, what is this?
yeah.
So
It was,
yeah, at least for those years, things were pretty cool in the Lindbergh house. But before that there was tension, but after it worked out pretty well. So I was pretty impressed with them for reaching the same conclusion, you just
I
described,
like, yeah.
because it's best for
It's
the
all it
family.
comes. My dad would never have done it on his own.
Right,
But
right.
Mavis said, this shit stops right now.
Mm,
None of this separate function crap. You know, everybody's going to get together and you
mm,
two get over it. At least be civil to each other and, whatever. Yeah. She brought the
Yeah.
family together.
Often all the hostilities or the incompatibilities or whatnot are all perceived in your head anyway, that usually you can put them aside for a few hours for a function.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
yeah.
more you do it, the easier it gets. I
I,
remember running into a ex-girlfriend of mine. It was quite funny. It was um, she was a girlfriend, and I ended the relationship, but just for me it wasn't working, and she was very upset about it and very clingy and was hard to finish. And anyway, I didn't see her till years later, and crazy, you'd never guess where we met up again, and it was in the antenatal clinic after we'd both had kids. And she met my wife and was talking to my wife, but I just couldn't bring myself around to actually have a conversation with her. It was just I just didn't know how to go there.
Mm.
So I mean, we sort of sort of re well, we sort of could have reconnected, but we didn't. But my wife connected with it.
Uh, Good stuff. Hey, Andre, good to see you. He's joined us, and we've been talking about family issues. I started with a story about my daughter and how she repeated back to me something I taught her, and then one thing led to another. Now we're talking about how our exes are getting along. So,
Wow,
if you want to add
that's good.
anything, that's the subject so far. You don't have to stay
That's
on that
good.
if you got something else you want to talk about.
No,
We're
I don't want
also
to change. I don't want to change the topic. I didn't want to interrupt.
all right.
I
Also,
could
we're
add
gonna
to I
do
could add to the topic whenever.
yeah, we're gonna do this call in um two portions. One is gonna be what we're comfortable sharing with, on the recording, and then we'll turn the recording off and we can get deeper and more personal if you want. So,
That's beautiful.
all right. Anybody else have a story or something I want to share or ask about, as far as family issues and things
Well, I
that we
do
teach our
actually.
kids or things we learn when we were kids?
I want to share something. As a lot of you probably know, I adore my wife. She's the most important person in my life, and I just don't know what I would do without her. But tomorrow's our 38th year anniversary.
Wow.
Wow,
Tomorrow.
Congratulations.
that's
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
Happy
38 years.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oliver, good to see you.
Yeah, hey, good to see you, Andrew.
Go Bears. I hear they're
No,
moving. What the heck?
yeah, they're gonna go to Indiana, man.
Come on.
Indiana Bears. No, they'll always be Chicago Bears.
Well,
I
happy
think
anniversary.
eventually
Happy anniversary. Yeah.
Chicago is trying to blackmail the state to give them millions and whatever billions of dollars to help them build a stadium, which I'm totally against because the owners of the Bears are already fucking billionaires. Excuse my language. They can build their own damn stadium.
Well, you sure? Of course.
Why do taxpayers have to put the bill on this? Screw
Oh,
it. It makes me mad.
because rich people don't like to spend their own money.
Yeah, it's the way the world works.
Gotta follow the Packers model. Have the fans
Yeah.
own the team.
Yeah, I
Mm.
love the Packers just because they play in that simple Lambeau Stadium. The fans show up and shovel the stadium out after a snowstorm. Give me a break. I mean, come on. And who does that? It's crazy.
Well, as much as I love American football, we are a little off the subject. So, let's see, where
Yeah,
were
Yes.
we?
My fault. Sorry.
It's all right.
but at any rate, 38 years is amazing. I'm taking her out to dinner. I've got roses coming in tomorrow. So, I don't know what I'd do without her. I just really don't know what I'd do. She,
Well, you got a good woman. You're lucky.
yeah, she is. She's
That's a long haul. You did well.
Mhm.
well. I, I need to emulate her more because she never has bad words to say about anybody. She's always upbeat and happy and just never grumpy like I am.
You married up, hey?
That's it.
So did I, by the way.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations to both of you.
yeah, she's the very one.
All right. Anything else on this topic, or feel free to change the topic if you have something else you'd rather talk about. Um, friends don't necessarily stay on topic, so if this is going to be a friend group, then we don't need to stay on topic necessarily.
No, you're just creating the topic to get the thing started.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can add more later on.
Okay. I want to talk something about travel too, but I
Mm.
didn't have anything particular specific to talk about, just kind of generally well, okay, I'll throw it out there. How important is travel to you guys, if at all? Is it something you really want to do, or
Definitely.
um, anyway, I'm curious. Do you feel like you've had less of a life experience if you don't? Um, because I never really had any desire to travel until fairly recently, and then I just did it. So, which
And
Yeah,
then
you,
once you
may or may
started, you
you,
not be
can't stop.
smart, but
how long were
Once you
you
st
away, CJ? You seemed like a long time.
I did my first trip to Southeast Asia in August of 24. So
Okay.
I've been back to the US. This is my fourth time. It's twice a
Okay.
year is my goal,
Oh, okay.
to visit
Hadn't
back here. But
realized. Well,
yeah.
that looked awesome, and it was kind of inspiring.
Oh.
I mean, I'm married, so there's always that. We have differing views on travel,
Mhm.
and for me, I'm more of a homebody, and I like to travel, but I really don't want to be away from home too long because I like my routine and I like everything set up the way I like it. And when I'm gone, it's like all hell breaks loose, right? So, so
Mhm.
um,
Right on. Right
you
on.
know,
Right.
we're considering our options, and we actually started talking about that today as it happens. And so if we did a trip once a year or once every 2 years now going forward, because we haven't been, but I'll be working much less, and so will she. Uh, what we want to do. So we have some things on our bucket list. We have Europe. We have, uh, like an Alaska cruise. And we just got back from a Caribbean cruise. So Alaska cruise, and we have Hawaii. And then after that, I don't know. We've got some places in South America picked out, but how often? I don't know. So, but yes, to answer your question, yes, travel would be interesting to me to talk about.
All right. Cool. So you're pondering. Good. Good.
Pondering.
Good to
Yeah,
investigate. Okay. Anyone else?
I want to travel too, but different type of travel. I mean, I'm Andre. I kind of like my house. I like my routine that I'm in. And when I travel and I'm in another city having to stay in a strange, like, hotel, or where I always have a few days where it's just hard on me. I
yeah,
don't sleep well. I have a hard time sleeping. The
yeah,
food bothers me. I mean,
yeah.
just things like that. I'm uncomfortable.
I
But
get
I
all
want to
those things,
travel.
but then
What I
the
want to
experience of
do,
something new is great, but all those the things you mentioned kind of offset it.
what I want to do is by myself. And Craig can relate to this because they do this a lot in New Zealand. My daughter did it for over 2 weeks when her husband and her were there. They rented one of those vans and they drove the whole North and South Islands for 2 weeks. Anyway, what I want to do is buy myself like a Class C camper and just take my home on the road.
Mm.
Go to places like I've never been to, like Yellowstone and Glacier National Park. And the United States has got a lot of beautiful parks that I've never been to. I'd love to see them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done a lot of road trips, never in a camper, but a lot of road trips. I've driven across the US. I mean, I'm in double digits at this point. It's been a couple of years since I've done it, but I mean, the first time I did it, I was 20, 21. And that was when I moved. My wife and I grew up in New Jersey on the East Coast, and we drove out here to California, and we took about a week. And I mean, we went to Chicago first, and we went to Mount Rushmore, which was amazing, and
See, I've never been there. I'd love to go there.
Yellowstone, like you mentioned. Yeah,
Glacier.
Yellowstone is one of my favorite places. Yellowstone. I love the national parks. And then we would go to Acadia in Maine. That's beautiful up there. But I've got a couple even in California. I've been here years and I've never been to Yosemite. So I
What?
probably want to do some road trips soon.
Unbelievable.
It's been a while. Yeah. Yeah,
That's,
but
I hear, a very difficult place to visit now. It's so
yeah, I don't know.
crowded.
I've probably, yeah, maybe.
I grew up, I lived in California for 20 years, and
Mhm.
this during the 70s, early 80s, I went to Yosemite, oh God, at least 20 times. And
Nice.
it was just magical. You just love that place. So I'd slap a sleeping bag on the front forks of my motorcycle, stick a backpack on the back of my sissy bar, and I just hit the road. Can of chili and whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. I get you, Oliver. We
Little
ride.
tent, and you just hit the road, man, and just ride.
Yeah.
Get to where
We've
you
been to
go, you throw
Yellowstone.
your
We've
little
been
tent up,
to
and
Yellowstone twice. We rode the bikes, and some of the best experiences actually in my whole life
oh yeah,
were
I
riding the
love it.
motorcycle and getting the hell out of Yellowstone because it was so congested with traffic,
Mm.
and then taking the what's it called? Oh, now I forget. But the road east out of Yellowstone, Beartooth Pass,
Okay, yeah.
taking that on the bikes down to Red Lodge. It took a whole day, almost half a day. And we were late because there was construction in Yellowstone, so we didn't get out of there. And I didn't plan it this way, but we were at the top of the freaking mountain when sunset started. And I mean, the clouds were below us, and we just got off the bikes and we just took a look at that and thought, this is majesty. It's magical. It's amazing. I mean, you had to soak in the moment. We had to rush to get down the hill because there was going to be no daylight anymore, and it was all hairpin turns all the way down. But we just had to just soak in that moment. And by the time we got to Red Lodge, we didn't even have a hotel booked, and they had one room left for us. It happened to be the penthouse suite kind of thing, and so it worked out great. But that was,
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do that, Oliver, I mean,
Well,
bike or not, with your wife,
my
you,
motorcycle days are way behind me.
yeah,
But I can see I almost pulled the trigger on a little Class C last week, and I didn't. I passed on it, but I came close. I came close. But then I got thinking, now I got to buy insurance for it, and I'm only going to use it a couple months a year. And where am I going to store it? And then how much is storage going to cost me every month? And I get thinking of all the reasons why I shouldn't buy the damn thing.
there's always a reason.
You should rent it for a while. I
Yeah,
mean,
Uh,
it
I
is true.
looked
If you
into
don't
that.
use it a certain amount of times, you're kind of throwing money in a hole. But yeah, if you rent it and try it out,
and if
Yeah,
you're in the
try it
States,
out that way.
you could do that, Kevin.
yeah.
Exactly right. I mean, in Canada here, we can't really rent bikes, not where I'm at, but we went to Utah last year, and I did a rent a bike thing with some company, and it was amazing. So I rented a bike. We were in Salt Lake, rented a bike, and I went through the mountains. And that's
Mhm.
another good place to go, Utah, Oliver.
I love
5
Utah.
national parks in Utah. They're
Yeah,
amazing.
that's on my list. Yeah, Moab, all
Utah's
those,
a
right?
beautiful state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zion, yeah, all those. Yeah.
Zion, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My I was a running joke with my wife, back to your story, Andre, is my favorite color is sunset. So just that's my favorite color.
That's a
Yeah.
good color. I'm not a morning
Yeah.
person, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Salt Lake City was part of my territory. I was a field engineer,
Oh, so you know it. Yeah.
and I went to Salt Lake quite often. And a lot of times I would try to plan the trip so I'd finish up on a Friday afternoon. And if it was wintertime, I would head up into the Wasatches, ski for a couple of days, and fly back home on Sunday night so I could get to work on Monday morning.
Well, I'll tell you, when we went, it was my wife had a convention, and so I thought I'm not doing this convention thing. I'm renting a bike and I'm doing my thing. So I did that, but of course I was a stupid tourist and I went to the salt flats and it was August. So,
Mm.
so it was like 120 degrees in the shade, but I did it. I got the bike out to the salt flats. So that's
Wow.
that's one thing off my bucket list.
Wow.
Did you go 120 miles an hour while you were driving?
Hell no. No, no, man. No. You know what? I got out kind of far and I thought, I have to find my way back. I'm not going to do this. I'm going back and I'm getting some freaking water
I'm
because it was
serious. What's
hot.
the fastest anyone's ever driven at one time? I wonder.
Yeah, no. Yeah. That place
I've
is
done over
crazy.
100, and I tell you, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. One little wobble goes wrong and that's it, man.
That's it. Yeah. You're
That's it.
airborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it very long, but I just did it just long enough to just see what it's like. And I said, no. Now, my wife says I drive like an old man.
Good, good, good for you. Good for you. When I was younger, I did 100 on the bike to impress a girl, and I just about hit a cow. So
Oof.
there was a cow. There was, I mean, literally, there were cows are normally behind fences. Well, the fence wasn't there, and the cow was in the ditch. So I thought, well, that's what if the cow stepped out? I wasn't going to stop him. I had no time to stop. No,
Thanks.
so yeah, that scared me straight, I think.
All
I
right.
hit a deer
Well,
one
thanks
time
for
in the truck.
your input and your stories. In the interest of time, I was going to do a little bit of follow up and then shut down this section of the call tonight. Um, Last week we followed up with Kevin about his resistance training, so I wanted to see if he's still persisting on that.
Done some, but I definitely not as much as last week. So I gotta get back into it. Like I said, I gotta do a set time. You know what I mean? That's the hard part for me is finding a set time.
Hmm.
My schedule's just so wacky right now. I think, and I hate getting out of bed in the morning. My wife is right there next to me. And so that's because that's
Yeah,
probably would be the best time. But
yeah.
For a couple
So,
years, I was consistent working out in the morning, but I did not have a warm female body next to me
yeah, so
to discourage my get rising early. So I'm
do
glad
you
to
have a
hear.
membership somewhere, Kevin, or you do that at home?
no, just at home. Just at
Mhm.
home.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna work out in the morning, that's the best route to go. Either use body weights or dumbbells or some combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still doing my military calisthenics. Even did that today here in at my uncle's place. So
How you finding it?
it's a little odd to me because it's focusing more on stretching and cardio type exercises than I thought there would be more push-ups and sit-ups and things like that, but it's more
Mm.
squats and core. So maybe that I think they're setting the basis and then they'll go to the other stuff. I assume they know what they're doing, so I'm
They
just
have a
following
system.
now. But it's making me sweat, that's for sure.
Good.
All right. Well, if that's let's go ahead and bring this portion to a close. Anybody else have anything they want to say on the recorded portion? All right, then we will stop the recording here. If you're watching on the recording, love to see you live. Join us next week and 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays. We'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.